Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. There is test match galore, Boxing Day test match galore, but dominance from Australia and somewhat dominance from India as well, although not on the same level as Australia, I would like to say. But some good test cricket to watch, a lot of talking points in the past couple of days. We will be reviewing the third test match of the Ashes and the first test match between India and South Africa. Some good test cricket to look forward to as well in the coming days. But let's start off with India versus South Africa. Day one, solid performance. Day two, washed out. Day three, two collapses, so to say, by the Indian team first and then by the South African team as well, not putting up enough runs on the board. So your thoughts on how the test match has gone so far, Musti?
I am not too surprised with the way it's gone. I think I'm not talking about who's in. I just like the team batting first, scoring 330, and then the second team struggling a bit, and now the pitch is going to produce more cracks and more in variable bounce is going to be more difficult for the batsman to bat on, and that's what I expected. But yeah, when India are in such strong position, 250 for 4, and suddenly losing 6 wickets for 50 odd runs, 60 odd runs,
272 for 3 at the end of day one. And then lost 7 wickets. Yeah.
So that's 50 for 50 runs?
Less than 50 runs, yeah.
Yeah. So I think
no, just about 55 runs.
You didn't expect that. But in South Africa, that's the beauty of South African pitches. You always entertain, right? It doesn't matter how old or new the ball is. It's going to always be tricky. I think South Africa are very, very rusty in that first session. I think India got away with it. You can clearly see that Rabada was kind of off the ball, and Giri was off the ball in that first session as well. But then Giri came back, bowled brilliantly well in the second or third session, and then on the second day, technically the third day, Rabada and Giri both were on song. They bowled their lines and lengths, and they picked up wickets. These kind of pitches, it's not easy to survive. Like we mentioned before, you can score runs on it, but it's not easy to survive. And it was shown today from both teams that you have to score your runs, otherwise you're going to get out.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the collapse was a little bit of an issue, but like you said, the pitches always never failed to surprise in South Africa. Coming to South Africa's innings, I think that the moment Bumrah got injured, especially when it was sprain on his foot, everything was starting to look a little bit worrying. And then Shami comes up with an absolute blinder of a spell with those fifer that he bowled. Only 44 runs, mind you, in a very good economy rate as well. And he was like seam up, and the ball was doing a lot of things. And it was just beautiful to watch. One of the best spells that I've seen him bowl.
Yeah, which one do you want to talk about first? Let me talk about Shami. I just want to tell everybody who was talking crap about him during the World Cup and everything that he's a world-class bowler. And also I want to give credit to Virat Kohli for backing him like that, during the World Cup and now as well. Those deliveries are outstanding. Top of off, that's exactly what you want, right? On these pitches, they normally say the tall bowlers, they benefit more. The likes of NGD, Morkel back in the day, Ishant Sharma. But Shami, just that line and length he hits, he doesn't swing the ball too much. He's at the stumps, and it helps him as well. He's shown that for someone in his height, it's not easy to bowl on this kind of pitch, but or be successful. But he's shown today, and it's not second innings Shami, it's first innings Shami. So I'm really happy for him. I think he went through a lot mentally, physically, and everything, but he's in peak fitness. I think he's 30-31, but I think this is the most fit I've seen him. An excellent bowling from Mohammad Shami, and also to bowl without Bumrah there. Bumrah picked up a wicket, and that was hard to see when he rolled that ankle.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that again, but unfortunate. But we discussed this. I told you that's why you need your fifth bowler. It can happen. Anything can happen in Test cricket. Ideally, you need an all-rounder. And this is the reason why, because you saw the batting wise, you were right as well. It's not like you were wrong, I was right. You were also right. The batting collapsed.
Yeah.
So you need an extra batsman, you need an extra bowler. So that's why you need someone like a Ben Stokes or a Cameron Green or whatever, just to balance the side. But yeah, I think overall India are brilliant. They could have been all out for 100, but the cock dropped first ball. Siraj could have had a couple of more wickets as well.
Yeah.
So unlucky in that side of things. But in South Africa, you will drop a few catches. The ball does come quick at the slips and behind the stumps, basically. But yeah, for Shami, it was an outstanding performance. Really, really happy for him.
Yeah, and I think the good thing that India will be very happy about is the Rock was back. When Bumrah did come back, you heard Virat Kohli say that about him, about the Rock is back or something like that. So it was funny.
Yeah.
Good WWE references there as well. But it is good that he's back, so that he will be he probably is fit enough to bowl in the second innings, because he will be needed. Because the way things are going, 18 wickets on the day, the way things are going, India will probably not be able to put up too much of a score. The lucky good thing is they have a 140 run lead. So if they can get up to about 250 to 70 of a lead to win, that would be about 120, 130 runs. This is game on for sure, and then they will need all their bowlers in good swing to be able to uh, put South Africa to bed. I think that a result is definitely possible with 2 days of cricket, even though a day has been washed out. So something really exciting to look forward to. I think for India, it is just a matter of getting about 150 runs if they possibly could, which would get their score up to about 270, 280 for South Africa to win, and that will be a very difficult target for South Africa to chase on the final
Yeah,
day.
first, your first comment about the WWE reference. There was one today, I think Bharat Sundarasan, our friend, he actually tweeted this that
He's my source, man.
Okay, yeah. He was talking a lot about wrestling as well when he came on our space on Twitter as well.
Right.
I think you remember during the T20 World Cup, he was
Yeah.
talking a lot about wrestling. So he tweeted about Labuschagne calling himself Stone Cold, and then Kohli's Rock reference. And then Eric Bischoff actually re-quoted that, because he mentioned before that, cricket and WWE will have some connection. I think when he came to India or something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, just on that comment. But yeah, from that side of things, the one thing I would want to talk about is that the weather. They'll have to plan about what's going to. You can't actually plan about it, but I think India will have to get to 250, 300 target, and get bowling. I think they have to get bowling towards the end of the second session, and they need the full third session, because on day 5 we don't know if it's going to get washed out or not, right? There's some rain around. Day 2, I thought there's going to be only 1 or 2 hour rain, but it rained the whole day.
Yeah.
So you can't really predict in South Africa. It's not that easy. The forecasts are not as accurate. So I think that's something that India will have to keep back of their mind. But honestly, if I was Virat Kohli, I wouldn't think that far, because you can't really take that into calculation. You don't know it's going to rain or it's not going to rain. So you have to take it as a normal. There's 2 more days. Plan accordingly, because you don't want to go out there, start playing T20 cricket, get all out, and you're setting a target of 200, right?
Yeah.
Then the game is wide open. So I think aim for 280, 300 target, 320 if you want to be safe. But yeah, I think wickets are going to tumble tomorrow as well.
And day after,
And day after, yeah.
And I think spin's going to start playing an important role. I think Keshav Maharaj on that end, and then Ravi Ashwin really need to step up his game in the second innings to really somewhat of a quiet first innings from him. I think the fast bowlers took all the wickets, so to say. And a quick mention to
From who were you saying?
Ashwin. I think he stepped up a little bit. But I think a quick mention to Shardul Thakur. I think he comes in and picks up those 2 important wickets at a very important time. The Quinton de Kock wicket especially was important at the time where he got it, when the partnership was starting to develop, So Shardul Thakur, as much as you love him or you hate him, you can't deny the fact that he's an absolute wicket taker, So
he got smashed in his first 3-4 overs, absolutely tonked all over the place. I'm like, why is this guy bowling like this? Right? I honestly wanted him to play, so I wasn't questioning his selection. But I'm just like, why is this man bowling like this? He's getting smashed. He's bowling like T20 cricket, but he has some magic in his hands, man. I don't know whether it's the pressure built from the other bowlers, or he himself has this change up which causes batsmen to be surprised. But he's doing it in Test cricket as well. Just keeps on picking up wickets.
He is actually, you can't deny the fact that he's been taking truckloads of wickets. Every time he bowls, he's taking a wicket or 2, So good on him to continue that form. But I think, like you said, wickets galore I'm expecting in day 4 and 5. Just a matter of if India can get that 280, 300 target, and then that would be very, very difficult for South Africa to then surpass and in whatever time they would have left. So let's see how that goes. Moving on to the Ashes. What about it?
With that, I'll just take those comments. Ashish Singh second innings will be tough if Bumrah doesn't field. I believe good decision by team to pick 4 fast bowlers. I completely agree with that. Musti, what's common between Kohli and England's Ashes team? Both are failing to score 100 runs, and that's exactly what we're talking about. I think it was probably the most boring series I've seen this year. I preferred many other series, even Pakistan versus Bangladesh was good. I'm not even joking.
That's true. Dominance from Australia.
It's been so one-sided. It's been a while since I've seen something like that. And this English team has amazing players. They're still doing something like that. It's ridiculous. You can blame whatever you want, but also I want to ask you and I ask everybody there, whoever is listening, that when matches finish in 2 days in India, everyone talks about the pitch. Today they're all talking about England sucks. So
That's
why
what I'm
is this
saying.
different?
That's what I'm saying. There is a
It's a very
complete
messy pitch, by the way. Australia got all out for 260 to 70.
there's a complete lack of consistency in the way people talk. I feel like, okay, yes, in India it is spin friendly. Just because it's pace friendly, you're not going to talk about it. It's ridiculous. One and two. The other thing that actually adds to this is if a game would have finished in 7 innings, 7 sessions, right? Let's say for example, a Bangladesh or a Zimbabwe finished the game in 7 sessions by losing by an innings and so some runs. A lot of discussion would be happening about not giving them test status. So for England, what is it allowed to just have test status? Is there not even going to come into any kind of consideration? They've lost 9 test matches this season, this year alone. Even though Joe Root has been in phenomenal form, Jimmy Anderson, they are world-class players. Joe Root, Ben Stokes, Jimmy Anderson, Johnny Bairstow, Mark Wood, Ollie Robinson has had a good season. Just because their openers are not doing well, what is going on? This is just unacceptable from England on a lot of levels. Joe Root spoke about a complete transition, like the 2015 white ball transition. Something like that needs to happen, because the Barmy Army, the English fans love Test cricket. They love Test cricket, and they still put it at a very, very high
It's like
pedestal.
11 a.m. The Barmy who couldn't travel, they're staying awake from 11 to 6 a.m. They're not sleeping. They're going to the bar, keeping the bar open and watching games. And games are finishing in 2-3 days. It's been what,
And
three? I think we only had one game
two and a
between
half,
25 and that
7 sessions.
also
That's it.
7 sessions. Not even 2.5, 2 hours, 2 days in 1 hour.
1 hour, yeah. So it
Bro,
took it
yeah.
when England went to Australia, they had to quarantine for 14 days, right? I think I saw that in Cricket for News, and that they lost the series in 12 days. They lost the series in lesser time that they had to quarantine. Because in 12 days, the game was over. You finish first game you played for 4 days, second game you played for 4 days, this game you finish in third 3.5 days. That's it. 2.5 days. That's
Okay,
it. All unbelievable. Like the way there's some serious thinking that needs to happen. I don't know what it is. I don't know how that'll change, but they need to
One
really get into
clear
some personal.
first thing that you have to do is you have to prepare better,
Yeah.
right? I think in 2010, England went early. I think they went a month early. They played in different grounds. They were playing practice matches across Australia before their first test match. I know with COVID it's a bit more difficult, but you go to Australia, even if you have to quarantine or even if you have to play amongst yourselves, whatever it is, go to Australia early. Select your players because as they've been talking about the Ashes since the India series, not
Yeah.
India summer series, India winter series. It's been 1 year. Like we're preparing for the Ashes. We're preparing. What are you preparing? You need to go there first, look at the conditions, and also you have to stop this rotation policy. You need to pick your best 11. You need to also assess conditions. In Australia, you need pace bowling. You have to have the horses for courses, right? You can't just have your swing bowlers there line in length. You need to have a plan, game plan. There was no plan. There was no, even with the batsmen, they didn't know what was happening. They didn't do their homework clearly. And Australia won a T20 World Cup, and then now they're smashing it. They're much more prepared. They learned from their mistakes in the last season. I told you also, they're not going to repeat those mistakes. They're rotating their fast bowlers as well. They understood that was a problem against India. They weren't getting rest. And they're doing well. And also, Australia are making mistakes, but England are so bad that they can't expose those mistakes.
Absolutely. I think the bowling has still been okay for England. I think that they are trying their best to do. Yes, they could do a little bit better. There are maybe a couple of things that you can try and do a little bit better. A little bit more discipline and stuff like that would all definitely help. But the batting has been an abysmal problem. Like you have the likes of Ben Stokes, you have the like Jimmy Butler, Josh Butler, the likes of Johnny Bairstow, Ollie Pope. These guys are top quality players, and the third most run getter in 2021. Do you know who it is? The third most run getter in the England team. One is Joe Root, of course. He's had a phenomenal year. Two is Rory Burns. Do you know who third is? Extras. That's the third highest scorer in the England team in the England team this season. So they've got about 400 runs through extras or something like that. I heard somewhere. So that says a lot about how poor the batting has been. And Rory Burns was so bad that he was not even playing the third Test match. So you see the problem there is there's just been a lack of a complete lack of kind of having a top six that is continuous and consistent and giving them the opportunity to go out there and really take this take the game to the opposition. You keep changing and chopping and changing, first of all, because of that stupid rotation policy that's out there. It's just bizarre. It's completely needs to be demolished right away, and I just don't understand it. And I think that's probably the first step to start the kind of a reset into taking test cricket a little bit more seriously. But preparation, like you said, is very, very important. Without that, there's absolutely we'll continue talking about this the next Ashes series as well if they don't prepare well.
County cricket, I don't know if it's the pitches or lack of county cricket. Maybe people are focusing more on the 100 or whatever. I think that has to improve, whatever it is, because teams like Australia, India, the Ranji Trophy, the Sheffield Shield, we've seen success. Boland is a prime example. I'm sure you're going to discuss about him, but he's a prime example. We mentioned, I think you mentioned that he had a very good Sheffield Shield. You mentioned Travis Head had a very good Sheffield Shield. Everyone performing now. So domestic cricket is very important. They have to play more 4 or 5 day cricket. I understand during that season they play for England, but also the 100 came this time, then the Nat West last, but probably more 4 or 5 day cricket. They'll have to invest in that if they want to improve, and then select players from that. It's not necessarily, you don't have to. Joe Root can still play T20 cricket. It's not like that, but select some players from straight from the county who are doing well there, performing well.
Absolutely, 100%. There's no doubt about that. Spoke about Boland. I mean, what a fine. I mean, as bad as England have been, you have to give credit to this guy picking up 5 wickets for 5 runs in 19 balls. That's just unheard of. That I don't know when that has happened. In the recent past, I don't believe it has. It has taken a lot for someone to go out there and in front of his home ground, in front of his home fans, really coming out there, and the kind of reception that he got from his fans as well was phenomenal at the MCG. It's just been phenomenal. It's just been beautiful to see. And looking forward to more people coming in like this, and we might not. So Pat Cummins got a 5-fer in the first test. He didn't play the second. Jai Richardson got a 5-fer in the second test. He didn't play the third. So maybe Boland doesn't play the fourth as well. Obviously, it might not happen. But just the fact that he was so good with the ball says a lot about the character of the player, the trust that the Australian side put in him, and just how far ahead Australia is in terms of their local talent coming through, their players coming through, versus an England side that is looking abysmal at this point.
Ashish is saying Johnny B should open in tests. I don't know how that would work.
It can't be worse than it already is. They've tried Rory Burns, Hasib, Crawley. This has not worked. So,
you could go for it. When I think, why didn't they play Broad? I think Broad and Anderson, they're getting rotated. Also, they wanted the extra pace of Mark Wood, so they wanted him to play. And I guess they wanted Brooks and Robinson to be there, so they chose to drop Broad in that sense. And I honestly, no matter what the bowlers do, I think the bowlers.
The batting is the problem.
The batting is the problem. So if you're making 300-400 in the first innings and you're getting them all out for 270, you're ahead in the game. Right, but
exactly.
If you're making 170 and they're taking 100 leads,
and then you're getting for 68,
you're not giving your bowlers a chance. So we don't know how they're going to bowl without Broad or with Broad. We don't know what's going to happen, right? I think this bowling attack, they would have challenged if they had 200 on the board in the 4th innings. I'm not saying they would have won, but they would have challenged. They would have
definitely,
because it wouldn't be easy to play Anderson, Mark Wood, these guys in the 4th innings on that pitch.
Absolutely, agreed, 100%. It's the batting. The batting needs to really reset for sure.
Did you see Michael Vaughan, the tweet?
He's being trolled.
Wasim Jaffer showed him. I think
he
said
lot
the
of
tweet
people.
How can you get all out for 98? And then he sends that. He's been trolled, but rightly so. I just felt that, the pitch thing, I brought it up because they always complain about pitches in India, spin friendly. Now they're talking about technical, the England batsmen's technique and how rubbish they are and how this, that. Talk about the pitch as well. Why not?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think it has aggravated from the fact that England have been so poor that they are not able to see beyond it. But
it's the same team that was poor in India.
Yeah, exactly, and that's exactly what I'm saying. So the problem is definitely with the English side, but the pitches are also friendly to the home conditions, like it was spin conducive in India. It is pace conducive because Boland has bowled there. He knows how to do it. Paddy Cummins brought his line and length. Mitchell Starc comes back with a pretty decent Ashes so far. So it's just that Australia has been better and the pitches have been more conducive to them. England also have not done terribly with the ball, to be very honest with you. Yes, they've gone for a few, but they've not done terribly with the ball. 260 all out is still a decent, first innings target to score to give to your opposition. So I think the problem has been the pitches have been conducive to the Australian kind of pace bowling, and England has been abysmal. They've been so poor
I have a
that
complicated question for you. It's not complicated. It's just a tricky question. I don't know how you'd answer it, or if you'll understand the question. But basically, do you think Ben Stokes is a special player, or he just plays special innings?
ooh. No, I think Ben Stokes is a special player. I think he's just rusty coming back from like a relatively long
Twitter,
break.
and I found it a bit harsh as well. I think he's
Yeah.
won a World Cup for England. He played that. Of course, it was a special innings, but he's even in South Africa, he's had innings there with bat and ball. I think he's an excellent player.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's just phenomenal. I think he's one of the top player. I think he just hasn't played in a while. He's come somewhat rusty still as well. I think the question, like, I think when these kind of fast bowling all rounders have these kind of poor games, we've seen it with Hardik Pandya as well. Now there's a lot of questions about him, and a lot of people are starting to think that he's just a good player of bad balls and that kind of stuff. So you will get that kind of criticism when things are not going in your favor. So
lifted one man's career and put the other man's career down.
You're stealing that from our private conversations.
Yeah. Oh, you said that. Yeah. So I've been reading a lot, like on WhatsApp and Twitter. So like it's like KL Rahul. The coffee is really giving that caffeine for Hardik Pandya. I think he prefers tea or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Uzi and me were talking about that.
Yeah. So I think what we were talking about. You're talking about Hardik Pandya, but Ben Stokes.
But I think Ben Stokes is a special player. I think it's just too harsh to blame it just on him.
Also, the bowling wise, you did mention they did bowl well in patches and stuff, but you need extra pace, right? You saw Boland, you saw Jai Richardson. I mean, Boland wasn't express, but Richardson was. Cummins is express. Stark is pretty express as well. So how important is pace? And coming to Australia, maybe just a Mark Wood isn't enough. You might need 2-3. Like India had Shami, they had Bumrah. Then when they were gone, they had Siraj there. They had Natarajan. But even without Natarajan, without Bumrah and Shami, Natarajan, Shardul Thakur, who were not expressed, they still managed to find something. So is it the lengths they were hitting? What do you think? England were too short, I think?
I think definitely. I think it was it was definitely that. I think Stuart Broad, the game that he played, he was very, very poor. I think he was just too short, and he was able to be picked away very well. I think Ollie Robinson had a good time, but then you have the problem, and then you're making him bowl spin bowling. That is just, I don't understand what the hell is going on with that. Then Mark Wood, he didn't play the second test. I think when he came on, I think he was a little bit lackluster in his line and length. I don't think he was consistent enough. But it's just like it is a lack of preparation. Your players are not ready for these kind of pitches. It takes a while for you to improve your lengths and stuff like that. So you have to give them that one maybe even two practice games to get their stuff right. So when they come in, maybe they'll have a poor first game, but then at least from the second game they start going and they start improving. So that's something that is needed. Now, at no point going in playing the 4th Test match bowling well. You lost the Ashes anyway. So that's the problem there.
This is what Jeffrey Boycott said 3 years ago. They're gonna just go whip someone at home and then focus on the T20 cricket. Everyone criticizes India for being playing well at home, this and that, but it's England right now. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
Of the 90s, I think India were like that before in the 90s, 2000s, but now it's England. Vinay Singh batting too dependent on Root. Yeah, I agree, but also
absolutely.
He has some issue in Australia. He gets to strikes and he doesn't convert it. I don't know what the problem is.
Usually whenever he gets starts, he goes then scores those daddy hundreds. So this time it's surprising.
Hundreds, yeah, I know, but this is the same case in 2017-18. At that time he was younger. He was 26, I think, and he was getting 50s there as well in Australia. But he's not converting those hundreds, and he did get support this time in Malan. Like, I'm not saying it's enough support. But Malan Butler had that innings where he faced 200 deliveries. Stokes wasn't great, but there was a bit of support here and there. But I don't think he maximized to his potential either.
I think so. I agree with you. I think that even though Root is obviously the highest scorer, but that's just been barely a couple 50s. That's about it. I think he needs more support, but at the same time, I think when he gets going, even though the wickets are tumbling at the other end, he has to stick it out and get those big hundreds. That's very, very important. 100%.
So now the Ashes is finished for you. I mean, there's 2 more matches. We'll discuss those. But for you, who has been the man? Notice one thing. I don't know. I'm getting off Twitter as well. Probably, I'm not making. I read So I'm not making this up. I read it somewhere. But first test, it was Cummins. Picked up 5 wickets, injured.
Yeah, Jai
He says
Richardson 5 wickets injured, Boland 5 wickets.
So will Boland play the 4th test?
Yeah, I mentioned that. I don't know. I do hope he does. He's a good bowler.
Who's been the player that you've enjoyed watching in the Ashes?
So Paddy Cummins for me, I think the way he's really come. I know he missed the second test, but in the first and third, the way he's bowled, I think it has to be the bowlers. No, I think that to see Mitchell Starc bowl well as well has been nice to see. But I think Paddy Cummins just the taking on that extra responsibility of captain and then coming out and bowling like that. There was a lot of talk on Twitter about how he was getting those close calls and he wasn't going for the reviews. That's very important as well. As a bowler, you always get carried away. So you seem like he has a calm head on his shoulders. He knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. So I think he's already developing into a very good captain as well, along with the fact that he's an excellent bowler and a handy batsman.
Yeah, and I think I saw that in that India series as well. He was amazing, Pat Cummins. But Pujara, man, he was the difference. Like, no matter how much I criticize him about Pujara and everything, he was a difference in a lot of situations where he just took the shine off the ball. And then Cummins was forced to bowl at short length. People were saying that Australia weren't full enough in that series and now they're bowling full. They're being allowed to bowl full from England. Pujara didn't let them because whenever they bowled full, he left the ball or it was a straight dead defense.
And then so many body blows too.
Body blows as well, right? So I think that was the difference because Pat Cummins was dangerous in that series as well. I remember he's an excellent bowler and I think this has been an outstanding series for him as well. You're completely right.
Absolutely. I think I want to see more from them. I want to see more from Joshie Hazelwood. I think he missed out a little bit. Maybe Starc gets a little bit of a rest. Josh comes back in. Now they can afford to like chop and change their bowlers, give them enough rest and stuff like that. So I think some good stuff to look forward to, just in terms of how England kind of come back and play for their pride, and how Australia can continue to dominate if they can. So
I wish I could talk to you for another 80 minutes because I've talked to you. It's been 10 minutes in the Liverpool game and Salah hasn't scored, so you're good luck.
You have to go and watch that. I have to go and watch that as well.
No, I mean, yeah, we will go, but it's good luck that you're on and he's not scoring.
So you want me to continue talking to you?
Yeah, for another 80 minutes. But no, I think that wraps it up. Anything else you want to add? Like, where do you see the India Test match going, and anything else you want to wrap up?
Yeah, I just want to say Salah is my captain, so I don't want the conversation to continue. So sorry about that. So I will hang up with you, but I do hope that India goes on and wins this one as well. It'll be nice to see that. Goes on and wins this one. I think a lot of wickets to look forward to in that game. I as a Test cricket lover, I like to see good bowling, and I like to see wickets more than I like to see centuries. That's just the way I am. So hopefully I'll get to add
as well. I just wanted to add as well. We talked about Shami and Gidi as well. Massive.
Oh, absolutely. 6 man. Yeah, he was very good.
He made his debut in the last India tour, I think, in 2018, and they won the second Test match. I think that's where he debuted. They won the series in that match. He was man of the match. He picked up 6 wickets there, and now he's picked up 6 wickets again. So
he's an amazing talent along with Rabada. I think both of them. I think that they will, like we said, we spoke about it in length. They will miss Nokia. It would have been very, very different if Nokia was around. So that is something that they will miss. But I think Rabada, when he came back, like you said, after pasting on day 1, I think when he came back on day 3 today morning, he looked a lot better. And I think those couple wickets that he got says a lot about the character of the man as well. I think he's a fantastic bowler. But one bad session from your prime bowler can really, one bad day from your prime bowler can really take the game away from you, which is what the case is now. Because now with the 140-run lead, it becomes a lot harder now for South Africa to win this Test match. So you have to be on top of your game.
250, 260 will be very difficult to chase. So
absolutely,
you're right.
I think
you have to be there from ball 1.
I think 280 target. I think that's what I think India should target. 280 as a target to provide, and then from there just go on and let Shami, Bumrah, Siraj, Shardul do their magic, and Ashwin on a deteriorating day 4 and 5 pitch, he probably will be a handful as well.
Sounds good. Thank you so much for joining me. It was a lot of fun, and we will discuss hopefully tomorrow and day after. And enjoy the rest of the Test match.
Looking forward to it, man. Take care.
Take care.